The morning sun glared off the steel beams of the new office tower as workers moved in a steady rhythm among the noise of drills and hammers. One man worked quietly apart from the rest, fixing a loose panel near the entrance. His name tag read, Sam, Miller Electrician Contractor Singledad. He was wiping the sweat from his brow when a sleek black car stopped at the curb and a man in a tailored suit stepped out. It was Daniel Hart, the CEO of the company whose logo gleamed across every sign on the building. He was here for a surprise inspection, but the real surprise waited for him. Daniel was walking past the workers when he stopped noticing something strange on Sam's old rusted toolbox. The company's logo was carved perfectly into the metal as if it had been there for years. Daniel frowned, pointing at it. "Why's my company's logo on your toolbox, sir?" Sam looked up startled, then gave a small, tired smile. "Because, sir, it used to be mine." Daniel blinked. "What do you mean yours, Sam?" Sighed and closed the box slowly. "I designed that logo 15 years ago when I worked in your graphic department." For a moment, Daniel just stared. The noise of the site faded behind him. "You're telling me you used to be part of my creative team?" Sam nodded. "I was a junior designer. I left when my wife got sick, and after she passed, I had to raise my son alone. I took any work I could find, including this." Daniel looked at the man in disbelief, remembering stories of a designer who once created the brand's first identity before disappearing without warning. Sam didn't meet his eyes. "I didn't think anyone would remember me," he said softly. "I just kept the logo as a reminder of who I was, before life changed." Daniel stepped closer, the wind tugging at his tie, and said quietly, "Then it's time everyone remembers you again." Daniel didn't say anything for a moment, his eyes fixed on the name engraved inside the toolbox. It was his father's signature, the same one stamped on every document in the company archives. He looked back at Sam. "You designed this logo before I even joined the company, didn't you?" Sam nodded. "I was young and full of ideas. Your father gave me a chance. I wanted to thank him, but he passed before I could." Ethan's throat tightened. The air around them grew still while workers pretended not to stare. He said, "You never came back." Why? Sam smiled faintly. "My wife got sick. Then I lost her. I had a little boy and no savings, so I picked up whatever work I could find. It wasn't about pride, it was survival." Ethan took a step closer, his voice lower. "You still have your son?" Sam nodded proudly. "He's 16 now and smarter than me. He wants to be a designer too, but we couldn't afford his course, so I taught him." That night, with scrap paper and borrowed books, Ethan's chest ached. He saw not a worker but a man who had built the very symbol that carried his family's name. He said, "Come to my office tomorrow. We're not done talking." Sam frowned, unsure if he was in trouble. Ethan added quietly, "Bring your son too." The next day, Sam and his son arrived nervously at headquarters. Ethan stood before the design team and said, "Everyone meet the man who created the image that built our empire. Sam, this company owes you more than a paycheck." He turned to the boy and said, "And you, young man, are going to study at our expense. Starting today, the company that began with your father's hands will continue with yours." Sam's voice broke as he whispered, "Thank for you, Sir." Ethan smiled. "Not Sir Sam, not anymore, just Ethan." Months passed and Sam's story spread quietly through the company. The man who once fixed broken wires now walked through the same halls where his designs had once been displayed. His son, Noah, started his first semester at the city's best art institute, fully sponsored by the company. Every Friday evening, Ethan would stop by the design floor to check on him. Noah's desk was always covered with sketches and rough drafts of logos, and packaging that carried the same creative spark his father once had. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the skyscrapers, Ethan found Sam standing alone in the company gallery, looking at the original logo framed on the wall. Ethan said, "I never told you what my father said the day he approved this design. He said this logo will stand for integrity, not profit." Sam smiled softly. "I'm glad it still does." Ethan looked at him for a moment before replying, "It does because of people like you, not because of people like me." Weeks later, the company launched a new campaign showcasing their heritage and values. The promotional video opened with a simple scene of a worker on a construction site, followed by the line, "Designed by one of us, built by all of us." When the credits rolled, the name Samuel Miller appeared as creative heritage consultant. The employees clapped when they saw it. Sam turned to Ethan with tears in his eyes, saying, "I never thought I'd get to be that man again." "Ethan," replied, "you never stopped being him. You just needed someone to notice." The day Noah graduated with honors, the ceremony was held at the company's auditorium. He walked across the stage, shaking Ethan's hand while the crowd applauded. Sam watched. From the front row, proud beyond words, Ethan looked at them both and said softly, "This company started with one man's idea and one family's heart. Let's make sure it stays that way." Years passed, and the logo Sam had designed became more than a brand. It became a symbol of second chances. The company grew faster than ever, not because of new products, but because of the story that inspired everyone working behind that name. Ethan promoted Sam to head of creative mentorship, a program built to help employees who had once lost their way find their voice again. He often said this company has plenty of talent, but only a few who know how to turn pain into purpose. Sam smiled every time because he knew what that meant. Noah finished his degree and joined the company not through connections but through talent. His first project was redesigning the logo his father had made years ago, but instead of changing it, he added one small touch, a circle of light behind the symbol representing hope. When the new version was revealed, Ethan turned to Sam and said, "It looks perfect." Sam replied, "It's not my design anymore. It's his." Ethan nodded. That's how legacy should look. One afternoon, Sam visited the site where he and Ethan first met. The same tower now finished, gleaming in the sunlight. He ran his hand over the steel frame, remembering the day everything changed. Ethan joined him, saying, "This building stands because of your strength, not just your hands." Sam smiled, "Maybe, but you gave me back my belief." He looked up at the logo shining high on the glass and whispered to himself it was never about success. It was about being seen. That evening, the company hosted a small dinner honoring Sam's retirement. Ethan stood before the crowd saying, "This man taught us that greatness doesn't come from status, but from humility and courage." Everyone applauded as Sam rose to speak. He said, "I used to think I lost everything when I left this place, but now I see life just paused until it was ready to begin again." If this story made you smile, share it with someone who needs a reminder that accidents can turn into beautiful beginnings.